Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Hurtworld closed alpha gameplay. Now this is the closed alpha. If you're interested in the key, I'll have some more information about that later on in the video, as I do have about 10 keys to give away, and I've been giving them away on Facebook and Twitter for the past couple of days. So if you don't follow me on any of those, then I suggest you do, because you might be missing out on keys most of the time. Sometimes I don't always make a video saying I have 10 keys, come get some or whatever. I'll just give them out to whoever on Twitter and Facebook. So that's always a good idea to try and follow there and keep an eye out on the keys. That radiation nearly wrecked me then. Now, what is Hurtworld, you might be wondering? Who's it by? It's an Australian company. They've been working not very long on this game, but it got it to a stage where we get to play a little bit and have a bit of fun. Now, as you might be sort of wondering, yes, it is a closed alpha, and there's a lot of stuff that's missing from the game because it's just a version of the game where we can play it a little bit, have a bit of fun with it, see the potential of the game, and then go back to the forums, go back to the devs and say, okay, well, we've tried the game, this works, this doesn't work, we'd like to see this, we'd like to see that, and that is up to you to go ahead and give them some feedback. And as for the stuff that's in the game already, there's plenty of stuff, and then most of them work. I was surprised to see a closed alpha gameplay with a lot of things that are actually working. You know, I was really sort of expecting to come into this and just be a walking around sort of simulator with nothing really to do, but as it turns out, I mean, there is weapons in the game, there's bows, there's all sorts of survival stuff in there. I mean, there's rain, there's cold. The reason why I'm not being cold on this mountain is because I created a winter jacket, but otherwise you'd die here within 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. So there's a lot of things they've put into the game, especially when it comes down to crafting. You can make bases, they already have a quad bike that you want to go around with. There's fuel, there's like a lot of things which I'll show you a little bit later on. And the map is absolutely huge for what it is now. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what the size of the map is. Let's put it this way. I went for dinner once, or lunch, or whatever it was, and I just left it on sort of auto run. And I came back like 45 minutes later and it was still going. So I'm guessing that the map is fairly big. There's a few plants that I planted earlier on. You can use these to get some food out of them, or you can just keep planting them and get seeds and let them rot. And once they rot, you can combine them with something else and you can make fuel out of them for your vehicles. Then you'll see on your left side of your screen that little bar that's going to go down. That's basically how much time you have left alive. You start off with about 30 minutes, I believe. And within those 30 minutes, you need to craft yourself a few things. You start with nothing. You need to craft yourself a bow so you can do a bit of hunting. So here we are back at the base. We've got a couple of quad bikes in here. It's me and another guy that I met on the server called Twin Blade. He's been the architect of this. I've just been sort of gathering loot. So those are the quad bikes in there with an extra bit of door there to get to them. You put some fuel in them. You can go miles and miles and farm some good resources. Inside here we have a nice drill that's drilling for resources for us. As long as you have fuel in it, which fuel goes where the coal is on the left hand side of it. This is just the dump box, as we call it. You just dump stuff in there, whatever you brought from the wild, you dump it in there, and whoever's in the house will sort it and put it in the right box. Melt it if you need to. You can smelt things, you can get yourself all sorts of resources. And those resources will make a difference in whatever you're trying to make. I mean, the better picks, the better weapons, the armor, and all that sort of stuff you can create, all of that. And this is the upstairs. Those are forges where you can smelt certain things. So if you go ahead and just put something in there, you can see there's a bit of coal in there, and you hit light, that should burn, and it'll tell you what the actual temperature is. So I like the fact that it's a survival game, just like others you've seen plenty before. You start with nothing, you need to craft stuff, you need to hunt, you need to build, but it's a little bit of a sort of mining survival game, if you will, because you need to sort of pay attention to a couple of things. Look at that steak, man, that just looks cool. So you can melt certain things in the regular fires, but you will need actual furnaces to burn stuff at like 1500 degrees and whatever. You know, certain materials won't burn only at certain temperatures. So this is the workbench. You can start here and build a few things. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on so we can see a little bit better. It's getting a bit dark in here. So that's the workbench. You can see there from from tools to machines to gadgets to weapons to all sorts of stuff there, your picks, your whatever, you know, you're always going to upgrade your stuff. And one of the cool things that I sort of liked in the latest games is that even though your base stays here and everything, when you disconnect, you disconnect. You know, your body doesn't stay there, like it doesn't Rust or Ark Evolved, Ark Survival Evolved or anything like that. So if you really have some really good loot and you want to protect it and whatever, then you just take it on yourself and you log out with it. It's just as simple as that. And even if your base does get cracked into, I mean, I know it's a closed alpha and we're just here to test it, but later on down the line when they do actually get to that stage where you're going to start raiding bases and finding materials and getting that stuff done, it's going to be something pretty cool that you can do that you can save some of your most important resources. And there is no wait system yet, so I don't know if that's going to be something, but it might be later down the line. This is the little observation deck we have up here. We can plant a few flowers and get the seeds, and they'll all produce seeds and they'll all give you a nice bit of food. And you can also, as I mentioned earlier, you can use them for fuel once they rot. It takes about 10 minutes for a fruit to rot if you don't use it. Plus, this is a shooting platform. You won't be able to build anywhere near us, and you won't be able to sort of craft yourself anything to get up here because you can't really jump through this little gap. It's just two tiny walls. But as it is, I mean, it's a little base for the closed alpha, just for us to test it and play around with it a little bit, where you can store a few items. Another little peephole there where you can see your vehicles, and that little box will have a few things in there. That's the fuel for the quad bikes. This is for the clothes and radiation suits. I mean, I did manage to find a Death Star and a huge ass ship ooze radiation out of them, so you kind of need to get in there. You need to make a suit and get in. This is where we keep the sort of materials, the crafted, smelted materials and whatever, and this is all the leather. We've got plenty of leather. Now this little cross here, maybe thinking what that is, it's just a placeholder for a plot pole. Think of it as a plot pole what you have in DayZ, where nobody can be authorized to get inside your building. It's only you and whoever's built it. So you have to literally get inside to that and then authorize yourself if you want to open any doors or if you want to get to any of the loot. Then you'll need to authorize yourself. If you're interested in getting a key, I do have plenty of keys to give away. I have about 10 to give away on this video, so if you're interested in getting one, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up, post a comment that you'd like a key, and I'll just give it a day or so, and then I'll go ahead and message some of the winners. I do, like I mentioned earlier on, give them away on Twitter and Facebook, and I don't always make a video because I don't always have the time to make one and just announce I have the keys and whatever, so that's always a good idea to have me sort of followed there. And that's a little bit of the building there where you can craft and build stuff. This was the first time when we got up here and we thought, why not, we have a bit of loot, why not start making a tiny little base where we can hide a few things, because your inventory does get full at one point or another, and you will need to start placing a box down or something like that to keep some of that loot protected. So if you're interested in getting the key, just go ahead and post a comment, give it a thumbs up, and I will pick somebody up in the next couple of days. You'll see that the base is not even built further to my sort of left. It was really cold up here, so we managed to get a fire. I mean, even as it is now, the fires are not completely giving out heat around them. You kind of need to sort of sit on top of it to get really warm, but hey, they're going to be patching it a couple of more times in this closed alpha, and all we can do is just send them some feedback. If you're also looking to pick up a cheap game, link in description to my G2A page. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to post a comment if you're interested in the key, and I will see you guys in the next one.